Okay, we've arrived at phase one, the language of feelings. I'm going to take you through some quick education that will give you basic shared lexicon and understanding of empathy. Then we'll get to practice an exercise that we've developed here at Curiosity Lab that helps you to strengthen your emotional awareness. The first thing that I want to introduce you to is the five core emotions. That's joy, fear, anger, shame, and sadness. Write these down. We're going to use the five core emotions from today forward so that you'll build upon your innate ability to identify and access these five core root emotions within anything you feel. The reason that we want to be able to access these easily is so that we can start to get curious about what is showing up in the situations we encounter and to be able to comfortably use our new tools of empathy. A common way of looking at empathy is through the lens of the three types of empathy. And the first is cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy is commonly understood as understanding emotions on an intellectual level. Just by having the ease of access to the five core emotions of joy, fear, anger, shame, and sadness, you'll already level up your cognitive understanding. Now, if you feel something, if you're witnessing something, you can start to get curious about which of the five core emotions you might be witnessing and to start making your plan about how you want to respond to these emotions within you or within someone else. The second type of empathy is emotional empathy or somatic empathy. You hear me talk about somatic experiencing or somatic empathy. And it's also called emotional empathy as well because this is commonly understood as the felt experience of emotions, how it shows up in your body. The reason we study this is because we can actually experience our emotions physiologically in our bodies before we can make a cognitive connection to what we're feeling. This is science. This is how we communicate with babies before we have shared language with them. And we're witnessing the nuance of what they're experiencing and adapting and turning that into language. Dr. Peter Levine is a psychologist who created and popularized this form of trauma informed therapy, in which patients are taught to access, relive, and heal trauma that's stored in their bodies. The reason we study this is because our emotions are born from our nervous system. You'll hear this, and it sometimes sounds cliche that all emotions are good. The reason that this phase exists is because our emotions are our nervous system's ability on a very basic level to react to the stimulus that we receive in the world. And it's telling us if we're safe or not. So let's explore what that looks like. For me, anger might show up as tensing in my muscles and in my neck. I've noticed even just as I'm saying the word anger, that I can feel tension in my shoulders. There's a feeling of heat developing in my body. I've noticed anger over and over kind of show up as my arms almost feeling like they're getting bigger, like Popeye. These are subtleties for me that I can notice after deep practice of slowing down and becoming aware. I share them with you so that you can get curious about what you might be experiencing. Fear often shows up for me as tightening in my chest or in my gut. Shame often shows up as me averting my eye contact or literally bowing my head, my body kind of bowing. I can feel my posture change. Can't leave out joy. Joy might show up as a big smile on your face. Sometimes I might even notice a tingling or an effervescence. You might feel joy as a sensation in your scalp. Maybe you'll feel heat as well. I feel warmth showing up and increasing in my heart rate as I share this work with you. These are just examples that you can start to imagine what happens for you. A common question: why are there four challenging emotions just versus one easier? And again, That's because emotions are born out of our nervous system. A very simplistic way to think about this is that joy in your body is your body's signal that you're getting nourishment, you're getting the stuff that you need to be resilient, that you need to confront future situations. So go ahead and soak that joy in, celebrate it. The other four, shame, anger, sadness, fear, are our body's way of saying to us, hold up, pay attention here. Or perhaps more commonly, I don't like this. Let's get out of here. Finally, let's talk about the third type of empathy, and that's affective empathy. The way I like to think about effective empathy is having a strong understanding of cognitive empathy, the five core emotions: joy, fear, anger, shame, and sadness. But starting to trust yourself and experiment with noticing the emotions showing up in you. Somatic empathy. Now, as you're noticing the subtleties in you, start to pay attention to the subtleties around you. How are emotions showing up in others? But here's the key: being able to lower your ego, not blending with the emotional experience, but rather approaching this from a place of being additive to the desired outcome. How can I lower myself in this situation and really attune to what is needed? And the easy example I like to give here is of a teacher who notices maybe the energy in the room is low, breaks from the game plan and introduces something to get the energy going. Maybe everyone stands up and shakes around. That's an example of someone witnessing a need in the group and adapting to it. This type of empathy, when we practice somatic empathy, we're going to practice somatic empathy today. And when we practice almost isolating that area that we don't often use, our somatic or emotional empathy, will actually strengthen our ability to think about our emotions on a cognitive level and to put them to use effectively. I'll see you back at the exercise in just a few moments. I can't wait to dive into the feelings roulette exercise with you.